Yo, what's going on, people? Your boy, man, Mike here, coming up with a quick live update from the heavy hitter Mad Mike Atlanta Falcons news and rumors from your boy. Let's get to it, man. This will not be a long live. Just want to kind of give an update, news update on the 53 man roster. It was released just a few minutes ago, about 4 o'clock. And these are the people that has indeed been released for the Atlanta Falcons. So the first guy, wide receiver Chris Blair, Natron Brooks. All right, Natron Brooks has been released, as well as Spencer Brown, Dylan Drummond, Prince Emili, John Fitzpatrick. Interesting. John Fitzpatrick has been released, tight end from University of Georgia. He could possibly make the practice squad. We'll see about that. But OJ Hilaire, wide receiver, Anthony Johnson, Zion Logue. Yeah. This defensive line is stacked, man. So I'm kind of bummed about that. Lakeil London, another defensive lineman, Jesse Matthews, Kenny O'Guinea, Jaden Price, Andrew Stuber. He has been released. Trey Tarpley, Tommy Tagiai. Carlos Washington Jr. He has been released. Barry Wesley, he's been released. Dane Cruikshank, he's been released. Julian Davenport, Damon Harris, and Kevin King, he has been released. Um, the wave injured list: Milo Eifler, Josh Thompson, and the injured reserve designated to return for the Atlanta Falcons. DeMarco Hillams, he's on injured reserve designated to return. Here's the 53 man roster. Then I'm going to show you guys here, and it is the quarterbacks. The Falcons are indeed keeping 3 quarterbacks. That is mighty interesting. So Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix Jr., Taylor Heineke. Those are the quarterbacks. The running backs for the Atlanta Falcons are Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Avery Williams. That is really interesting. Did not see that coming. I gotta be honest. Jace McClellan kind of knew he would be one of those guys, but I think Avery Williams, being that he is a special teams guy, you can kind of use him in the passing game, whatnot. Look, as far as his um, versatility is concerned, I think that's good for him. The wide receivers. Here's the wide receivers for the Atlanta Falcons: Drake London. Okay, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Kadaro Hodge, Casey Washington. Interesting. You have him there. You have him there, and um, excuse me, 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. So, you have again wide receivers: Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Kadero Hodge, Casey Washington. Kyle Pitts is the tight end. Charlie Warner, Ross Dwelly. Offensive line for the Atlanta Falcons: Jake Matthews, Matthew Bergeron, Drew Dahlman, Chris Lindstrom, Caleb McGarry, Ryan Newsel, Kyle Hinton, Storm Norton, Javon Gwynn is the offensive line for the Atlanta Falcons. Defensive line, they are carrying 8 guys on the defensive line and 9 guys on the offensive line. The defensive line for the Atlanta Falcons: Grady Jarrett, David Omanyata, Taquan Graham, Zach Harrison, Eddie Goldman, Kentavia Street. So Eddie Goldman did, in fact, he did not retire for the Atlanta Falcons, so he made the team. Kentavia Street is a guy that I thought played well enough. I think he's a pass rusher the Falcons can definitely use. Rook Aurora, Brandon Dorless. He's another one of those guys got cut. Outside linebacker. Now, this is something that you guys got to see. I think this kind of I guess this is kind of a shock. But I want to know what you guys think about this. The outside linebackers: Matthew Judon, Lorenzo Carter, Arnold Ebiketie, James Smith Williams, and D'Angelo Malone. D'Angelo Malone got he was saved. So I guess special teams and his ability to play special teams and be a versatile guy at special teams. That saved him. I think that had a lot to do with what the Atlanta Falcons wanted to do. So D'Angelo Malone is still Atlanta Falcons. The inside linebackers for the Atlanta Falcons goes as listed. Caden Ellis, Troy Anderson, Nathan Landman, and JD Bertrand, the cornerbacks. The Falcons have the five cornerbacks. Obviously, AJ Terrell, Mike Hughes, D. Alfred, Clark Phillips III, and Antonio Hamilton Sr. Okay, Antonio Hamilton Sr. Antonio Hamilton Sr. That's interesting. So the safeties for the Atlanta Falcons: Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, Richie Grant, Michael Abernathy, and three specialists, obviously with Young Wei Koo, Bradley Pinion, and Liam McCullum. So this is the Atlanta Falcons 53-man roster. Um, you guys got some question real quick, and but we have the Lady Bird show coming on at 8 o'clock. So you guys do not forget to tune into that. Miss Maggie, Whitney, Miss Pam, Auntie Pam. We have her coming on later on tonight. But you guys in here, this has been this is look. I didn't a lot of things I didn't see. Really didn't see. Um, I think probably the only shock with this is probably D'Angelo Malone staying with them. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see that happen. Um, but the Atlanta Falcons, I guess they really put an emphasis on special teams and Marquise Williams having his guy, and I think D'Angelo Malone is his guy that he can trust. That he'll be able to have one of those guys that can not only play um special teams, but he can play special teams at a high rate, and I think that's what really went into having him um being on this roster. We might be adding to the wide receiver core. I mean, I can see the receiver in the cornerback room. Like I said, we'll figure out what the well, excuse me, we'll figure out what the practice squad is going to look like. So a lot of those guys that we see on that was cut, they'll probably be back on the roster. Zion Logue, I can see the Falcons not only adding Zion back, but like you said, Jay, a wide receiver cornerbacks because I think they only cut carrying uh five five corners, three safeties, but they have a lot of guys up front that they're carrying, including linebackers. So it's going to be interesting with this Atlanta Falcons team. Mm, um, Washington. I don't know which Washington. If you mean Carlos Washington, I don't. Mm, I think Jace McKellen had a better uh all preseason than he did, to be honest, if that's what you're referring to. Yeah, I think Carlos Washington was pretty much and we didn't see a lot of Avery Williams, so it's kind of another one of those things. Guys really have to show. I think they have to show out in order to become to make that team because the Falcons are loaded this year, man. They got a lot of depth, so a lot of these guys, even good players, and Natron Brooks and all those guys, it may be eligible to be on a return to the team as far as practice squad is concerned. So that's another thing. Um, whether or not Taylor Heineke, how you doing, Christy? Taylor Heineke be trade bait. Like, look, the Falcons may not want to. Like, I know this is something that even I Said he myself whether or not Taylor Heineke needs to be here, he's going to be here. He's still here. The Atlanta Falcons may not want to play Michael Penix this year. So if anything happens to Kirk Cousins, God forbid, they don't want. So this is what this tells me is that Heineke may be one of those guys that they feel more comfortable stepping in this year, or quite possibly they just want to surround Michael Penix with veteran guys that could teach him and help him throughout the season as far as like trying to figure out what he needs to see, what he sees. Like even when they're on the bench, he has to be around the players, around the coaches, and understand what he's seeing when he's seeing certain things on the team. So yes, Ross Dwelly, he did make the team over John Fitzpatrick. Um, um, yeah, Natron Brooks did get cut. That's no real surprise to me, to be honest. I like them, but how the Falcons want to play, I think they really want to rotate a lot of their big guys up front. So I really don't think when you look at the Atlanta Falcons, will we rely on DBs like that? I don't know. I think we'll rely more on our safeties rather than the corners. But like I said, we'll see. Falcons may indeed add a little bit more depth to this roster as far as DBs is concerned, corners concerned, excuse me, corners. But we'll see, man. Yeah, I think the Falcons want to be more. I think you're gonna see a lot of corners, a lot of wide receiver sets, but I think people's forgetting, even though Kyle Pitts is technically a tight end, he has the ability to be a wide receiver. So the Falcons are definitely at this point they have five receivers, but you can add Kyle Pitts to that, who's really a wide receiver himself, and then you can add Bijan Robinson. You can split him out wide to be a slot guy in certain situations, and then have Tyler Algier in the backfield. So, like I said, the Falcons have opportunity. I think the Atlanta Falcons are really going to play um, a lot more spread out situation. So, like, we'll see. We coach kind of talked about this Saturday and Sunday that you can see Heineke staying, and I kind of echo the same sentiment as that, the Falcons may indeed not want to play him all year. And he is what I mean by that is Michael Penix. They probably don't want him to play this year. So that's why you have a guy in my Taylor Heineke that you keeping around. Obviously, he'd be able to teach him certain things, but maybe you just don't want him playing this year. How does the practice squad and progress go? And then what do we? I think as far as the practice squad is concerned, I think you have a certain number of guys who are eligible for practice squad, meaning that they have X amount of time to either get cut. Once they're cut, you have um you have a certain number of time that you can be on the practice squad and you can be cut. So if a guy get cut multiple times, he lose that eligibility to be even claimed by a team. So um, but we'll see. We'll see. Malone is shocking. That's the only. I mean, it's not really shocking. I mean, if you're looking at Malone as a a player that, like, let's just say, all right, is he a pass rusher? Probably not. Is he a damn good linebacker? Probably not. But he is a hell of a special team player, and I think you gotta we gotta recognize that guys even like Cordero Hodge, like, is he a great wide receiver? Probably not. Um, can he catch the ball in certain situations? Absolutely. He's a special teams guy, absolutely one of the best. So you got Cordero Hodge as a special teams guy. You have um Cordero Hodge, and then I don't know about Casey Washington. I guess you can get throw Casey Washington there, but you got Avery Williams. He's another one of those guys, and D'Angelo Malone. So you got three guys on special teams that are very good for the Atlanta Falcons. So like I said, not really shocking. But I thought the Falcons would go more so um I thought they would at least keep another DB, but they didn't. They kept Deontay Malone. I think that's the thing. The Falcons, but like I said, a lot of these guys have to clear waivers as far as the players are concerned. So we'll see a guy like Blair, Chris Blair. He'll be on the roster. We'll see as far as that's concerned. Um, no, we're not talking about no Russell Gage. No, I heard about it, Leatherwood being released. We'll see how that go. The Falcons may be looking to bring in other guys that were cut by other teams, so it may not be the end. So as I said, it was fun to joke about Heineke, but I think it's a smart move to have him on the team, and I concur. Um, Again, what I like to see Michael Penix this year. Yeah, as a fan, I think you have your first round pick. You want to see what he can do, but I think it's best, like Coach said, Coach Unchained says, like I think the smartest thing to do in order to get the best out of him, I think he needs to sit for a year. So if Taylor Heineke is that guy for the Atlanta Falcons, I think that's the smart way to go. If you don't have to pay Mike Penix this year, I wouldn't, especially if Kirk Cousins, especially if Kirk Cousins is that guy. Yeah, I would. Look, why not? Why not have Kirk Cousins, Taylor Heineke here? If Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy anyway, what's the point of playing Michael Penix? Look, just have Taylor Heineke on it. Jackson Comer was released from Cincinnati, maybe a Falcon. Oh, and then Desmond Ritter did indeed get cut. Um, I doubt he'll be one of those guys the Falcons look at, but like I said, this is the NFL. We don't know how things work. I mean, NFL is just strange anyway. So um, I don't foresee the Falcons bringing him back in any shape or form. Once you trade a guy, get rid of a guy, I think it's pretty much a done deal for him. But hope he bounces back, gets another job. Um, I think Coach said is he 3 or 4. I think you're right, Mike. I think it's 4 times you can get elevated from the practice squad. And Marquise, that's like I said, this is why guys like Avery Williams, Cordero Hodge, and D'Angelo Malone, a lot of guys, special teams is a huge part of football. I think we all know that we've lost some crazy games, and teams have actually won championships because of bad special teams and good special teams play. So like I said, Reginald, I think the thing is when you look at Kyle Pitts and you got Bijan Robinson, those guys can be, you can put those guys in the slot and run certain packages and whatnot. So um, I don't think the Falcons are really hurting for receivers like that because you got a bunch of pass catches. If a player is made active on game day the fourth time, they must be signed to the 50-man roster. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. My surprise is 9 offensive linemen. Yeah, that's kind of surprising. I guess because the Falcons really have some good offensive linemen, they really don't want to lose a lot of trench plays, and I think the Falcons are really making the emphasis on trench plays this year. And Alfred has indeed played safety. I think they're gonna test him out at free safety. To be honest, nah, don't play me like that. Everybody keeps saying I look like Russell Gage. I don't think so, but whatever. No, Brandon Doyle is actually on the team. He didn't get cut. Zion Logue is the one that got cut. They said Ernest Jones got traded to the Saints, the linebacker from um the Rams who actually played. So Mike, if he clears waivers, what are your thoughts on maybe resigning Kadarius Tony? Nah, that dude can't catch. Yeah, he's fast as a mug, but I mean, look, I mean, you got that type of speed. Maybe the Falcons be able to use it, but yeah, I don't know if he worth it because that dude can't catch worth a crap. No, Dembo 80. Yeah, he got cut. DeMarco Hellams is actually on the team, but he's on IR. So maybe one of those guys, the Antonio Hamilton Sr., maybe he'll be one of those guys. Micah Abernathy, whether or not he'll be on the squad when DeMarco Hellams is ready to come back, if he comes back. As far as his health is concerned, we'll kind of see that. Yeah, Zion got cut because Eddie Goldman surprised. Look, yeah, I mean, mm, yeah, I wouldn't fight. I think the thing too is a guy like James Smith Williams. You know, he's really playing his behind off. So yeah, I like I said, Tony fast as a mug, but yeah, that dude, that damn Tony, he's fast, but he can't catch worth a crap. No, I don't. The practice squad hasn't been named yet, so. But the Falcons corners are AJ Terrell, Mike Hughes, D. Alford, Clark Phillips the third, Antonio Senior. So Antonio Hamilton Senior, and then you got Michael Abernathy, Richie Grant. He's another one of those guys. Richie can play that slot corner too. So they have a lot of guys with a lot of versatility. Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates, obviously. So, like I said, we have the Lady Birds coming on at 8 o'clock tonight. You guys do not forget to hit that subscribe button, not only here at Man Mike Sports, but we are going live on AFN, the Absolute Lady Birds. Yeah, I honestly thought that King would have an opportunity, but it's like when I saw him on the field last, um, I think when I saw him on the field late last preseason game, I was like, yeah, he's definitely done. I think they had him at safety too. So yeah, once you see guys with who's been in the league for a while, you see them guys on the field late. Yeah, it's not typically a good idea. Ross Willis, the tight end for the Atlanta Falcons, didn't play a lot in preseason. I think the Falcons are really counting on him. I believe that he played now with Kyle Shanahan, I'm not mistaken, but he's one of those guys, them tight ends that the Atlanta Falcons really like. Yeah, like I said, I think a lot of people really expect um Kevin King to kind of battle with Mike Hughes, but from what I understand, man, Mike Hughes is making a lot of noise, man. I think he's making a lot of noise, and he really impressed those coaches. Jimmy Lake is a DB guy. Jerry Gray is a DB guy. Um, you have Raheem Morris. Yeah, sorry about that. You have Raheem Morris. He's a DB guy as well. So the Falcons definitely have a lot of these guys. Um, a lot of guys that are versatile. So not really surprised. Noah E, your boy Desmond really got cut. Yes, I know. I mean, Matt Ryan got cut too. So what are you supposed like? What are we saying, Noah? Matt Ryan got cut too. Okay. Yeah, but no, you knew that. Yeah, the Hall of Famer Matt Ryan got cut. So this ain't the first time we have a player get cut. So get your head up out of Justin Fields' ass, okay? Justin Fields got traded too. The same guy you said that the Falcons was going to get, and there's nothing you can do about. So Antonio Hamilton is a Steve Wilkes cornerback. And Steve Wilkes is one of those guys too. I know Brian knows this, but he's one of those coaches that have been in the Atlanta Falcons practice. The Falcons get him in the trade, no how. Yeah, Mitchie ain't going nowhere. I just don't see him going anywhere. But it's a huge risk with a guy like Mechie because he, you know, suffered from a cancer scare. So I don't know if teams really want to take that chance on him. But if they want to take him, I don't think he'd be uh, a high draft pick as far as a second round pick, maybe a fourth, maybe a fifth. That's a huge risk with a guy like that. We'll see, but I hope everything with him is well. Get rid of Avery and Malone. But the thing is, man, we gotta have nobody cares about special teams until we need special teams to come up big. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about special teams until we need special teams, until something happen at special teams. So I don't have a problem with Avery and D'Angelo Malone making it. And this is the depth chart too. Yeah, I mean, again, we do when see the thing is with young quarterbacks too. Once you kill these guys' confidence, man, it's hard to get those guys back. I'm saying with a guy like Desmond Ritter, man, if he's not in the offense right now in his um especially in his team and where his confidence, where he is in his career, if he's not running the RPO, man, I don't think he'll be able to bounce back. You got to make sure this guy gain confidence first. And right now, his confidence is shattered. Or it could just be as simple that he just fucking sucks. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in his career, whether a team pick him up. We'll see. Like sometimes you think a guy's gonna be something and he ends up being crap. No, I think Avery was like a top three guy too. Avery Williams was like a top um five kick returner in the league. I think he led the league in kick return if not mistaken at one point in his career. Falcons are already down two draft picks in third. Trading another pick for a wide receiver. Yeah, I don't see the Falcons trading away for a wide receiver. I just don't. Um, you can always get draft picks back as far as trading guys and whatnot. You can always do that, but we'll see. I think if you end up cutting Taylor Heineke, I think it'd be like 3 million. You save 3 million on the cap or something like that. We'll see, man. We'll see if he'll be able to take the UFL deal if they want him over there. I don't know how they do it or what the type of players that they want as far as their players, the quarterback and teams. Because it's like we'll see, we'll see if he really wants to play football and you know if he want to play football and kind of bounce back from whatever's going on with him right now, he'll take it. Everyone's a valuable piece to this team, especially since he played multiple positions. That's another thing too. A lot of people don't know. Um, Avery Williams actually played DB for the Atlanta Falcons when he first got to the when he was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. So not only is a running back, but you can put him at DB. Okay, you can put Avery Williams at cornerback. So the Falcons may be looking into doing that. We don't know. We'll see as far as how they use him during the course of the year. The course of the off season, we'll see what the Falcons do with him. But Avery Williams is another one of those guys you can put at DB if it gets to the point where injuries start to pile up or whatnot. God forbid that. But Avery Williams is a guy that you can put at DB. So this is why you need versatility with your players. Trade the box of what's going on, man. And this offense, we don't necessarily use the fullback like that. We use a lot of gun formations, a lot of two, a lot of two. At times, a lot of two. Well, they use a lot of two. A lot of tight end, two tight end situation, but they use a lot of shotgun. They're in the gun and they're in the two tight ends sets a lot. So the Falcons really don't use the fullback like that. But Brooks, Kings, all those guys, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Malone, I mean, Zach, I mean, maybe as far as like showcasing whether or not he can get sacks and whatnot, maybe he hasn't contributed to the team in that way. But this dude is one of the best special teams players that we have, if not the best. And that again, a lot of people don't care about the special team until they actually, until you actually need it at the worst time or something happens at the worst time. So, like what the Atlanta Falcons have done, again, let me announce those before um the releases for the Atlanta Falcons: Chris Blair, Natron Brooks, Spencer Brown, Dylan Drummond, Prince Emily, John Fitzpatrick, OJ Hilaire, Anthony Johnson, Zion Logue, um, oh wow. Lakeel London, Jesse Matthews, Kenny Agini, Jaden Price, Andrew Stuber, Trey Tarpley, Tommy Tagai, Carlos Washington Jr., Barry Wesley, Dane Cruikshank, Julian Davenport, Damon Harris, Kevin King, all those guys. And Milo Offer were put on the waived injured release. So Milo Offer, he's one of those guys there. So just Josh Thompson also is one of those guys, and DeMarco Helms has been put on the injured reserve list. So even if DeMarco Helms come back, one of these guys on the roster at this point have to be cut. Jakeem Grant has been cut as well. They cut him, I believe, it was yesterday. This could be last season with the Falcons, Ebby Kitty and Malone. Both those guys coming off the I think they'll be on their last deal. So we'll see. We'll see. Those guys are coming off the roster too. The South Side says, unfortunately, the Falcons, the fullback position is dead in Atlanta, which is crazy because no, I mean, yeah, but look, it's just the way teams are run. The people, a lot of these all offenses, they throw the ball, man. They like to throw the ball, and they use a lot of shotguns. But they're turning the NFL essentially trying to turn the NFL into a college game. So it's gonna be a lot of receiver, a lot of assists, a lot of RPO, a lot of that. So it's not surprising. I mean, I think that's something that they were talking about, Dave, as far as the active roster increasing, but I think the active roster will have to increase if they bring in another game, and I think that's one of the things that's definitely on the it's definitely on the table. That I think at some point the coaches don't want uh three preseason games, so they want it. They feel as though that they only need two preseason games. So um you may be looking at the active roster. I mean, ain't no may about it. You're going to get another game. You're going to get 18 games. You're going to get another game, and you're going to see a longer roster. So it is happening. It's just a matter of when. Mark Cheney, what's going on, brother? Um, would that affect the running game? Use two tech. I mean, I think the running game has already been affected. Like, I think the Falcons are good because they have one of the best offensive lines in the game, man. Um, a top five offensive line easily. So it's like, would it affect the running game? Maybe, maybe not. But like I said, we'll be fine. Falcons will be fine. There's nothing to really worry about. And like I said, man, this is the Atlanta Falcons. This is the Atlanta Falcons 53-man roster. So again, we got Miss Maggie T. We got about less than 3 hours for the show, for the Lady Bird show on um Atlanta Falcon Nation. So you guys tune in to her show. And I'll get this last question from Dave. Do you think Zach will call plays from the booth or on the field? Honestly, I think he'll be in the booth. I think that's the best way for offensive coordinator. And from what I understand, he has been in the booth. So yeah, Zach will call plays from the booth. I think that's where he'll call plays for the most part. So and if you see him on the field, if you see him on the field, it's probably some things that, and I don't think he need to be on field. I think for the most part, when you see your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinators, most of the time these guys are on the fields because your team is young. And I think with this Atlanta Falcon team, with a coach like Raheem Morris, who's known to be a little bit aggressive in his manner and coaching and being more vocal with his players, I think there's really no need for Zach to be on the field. So I feel like though um he'll be in the booth, but it's not too shocking. Um, like I said, we'll see about it. We'll see about it. How much of the work you anticipate Bijan? Mm, I, he'll probably get the same amount of carries, somewhere in about 180 plus. I think both of those guys get about 180 plus carries, and then Bijan is one of those guys that you can actually use in the passing game. So he's going to get a lot of touches. I think he'll get somewhere between 230 and 250 touches in its entirety all year. So I think he'll be fine. He'll get the ball a lot. But for me, I don't really care how many times he'll get the ball. It's just maximizing when he does touch the ball where the Atlanta Falcons are going to succeed. Team is definitely going to shock the world. So continue to support your boy here at Man Mike Sports. I appreciate everybody for joining. Brandon, Frederick, appreciate you. And like I said, man, we'll be fine. Like Brian said, Jerry Gray and Jimmy Lake, those guys on the sideline, they're very vocal with their players. So He'd definitely be in the booth, in my opinion, and Zach Robinson. So continue to support your boy here at Man Mike Sports. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Gonna continue to go live all week long. We're gonna break down this 53 as we go on. But head over to Atlanta Falcons Nation. Head over there, hit that subscribe button, get ready for the Lady Birds. They're gonna get their opinion on the 53-man roster. That's all I gotta say about that. Hit that like button. I'm out.